What's up, guys? This is David aka Flippy here with another deck update, or deck review, or deck profile, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, today we're going to go over IRONMAN, Time of Innovation. He's a 3 blue-red, legendary artifact creature, hero human. He has Flying Haste, and he has Genius Industries. Whenever IRONMAN attacks, create a treasure token, and you may sacrifice that non-creature artifact. If you do, search your library for an artifact with mana value equal to 1. Or no, it's equal to 1 plus... equal to the mana value plus 1. And sacrifice... yeah, so you sacrifice and it comes in the battlefield tapped. But yeah, this is basically an Artifacts Matters deck. And I was gonna do my goblins, but that's basic. And then of course I'm gonna do an update on Dragon because I haven't done an Dragon deck in 2 years. But yeah, let's get this. Let's turn the camera right here. Then we'll go with, since there's not a lot, since I usually start with the artifacts, but because this deck is like artifacts matter, let's do the, okay, so we'll do the planeswalkers, then we'll do the enchantments, then we'll do instants and sorceries, then we'll do the creatures, then the artifacts, and then the lands. But yeah, okay, so for our first card is Korn, Great Creator, Legendary's Planewalker, costs 4. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponent's control can't be activated. So yeah, he's a little stacks piece, but we really want him for his neg 2. But his +1 is until the end of your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to the converted mana cost. So if you trigger him towards a Portal to Phyrexia, the creature becomes a 9/9. Which is crazy. But yeah, he's really good. And then this is why we want him. You may choose an artifact card from your outside of the game or exile, reveal that card and put it to your hand. So you could either, if IRONMAN died a couple of times, you want to pay the mana cost, you could take him from the command zone, put him in your hand. Or I have a lot of cards that exile artifacts, so you can grab an artifact that's from exile and just put it in your hand, which is really good. But yeah, that's the only planeswalker in the deck. Then we only have 3 enchantments. This is the only deck I have that has a little bit of enchantments, a little bit of instants and sorceries, but a shit ton of creatures and a shit ton of artifacts. But yeah, so the first card we have for our enchantments are Artificer Class, a 1 and a blue. The first artifact spell you cast each turn costs 1 less, so that's really good because we have a lot of artifacts. Then when you pay a 1 in blue into this, when it's already on the board, it becomes level 2. Reveal the top card of your library until you reveal an artifact. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom any random order. So yeah, you can basically search for an artifact, which you're gonna hit it really soon because there's a lot of artifacts in this deck. And then when you do 5 and a blue, and then at the beginning of your end step, create a token that's a copy of a target artifact you control. So this thing is basically a curse mirror, which is crazy. So at the beginning of your end step, you always create a copy, which is really good. So this is a really good card. All right, and then the obituary heuristic study. No one likes this card. But if you're playing blue and if you're trying to actually have like a semi-competitive decks and you want some draw, this is good for drawing. So we all know what it does. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless they pay 1. So yeah, do you pay the 1? All right, and then our last enchantment, which is an artifact too, which is cool, a Bident of Thassa. It's 2 and 2 blue. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, which is more card draw. And then you could pay 1 and blue, tap creature your opponent controls, attacks. This turn available, so you can basically go to creature. Or, not go to creature, but you have to make a creature attack, which is really cool. Alright, so that's Bident of Thassa. Then let's start with the instants and sorceries. So for our first instant sorcery, it's going to be Brainstorm. It's just 1 blue. Draw 3 cards. Put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Yeah, so you draw 3. You put 1 of the cards in your hand, and the rest on your deck, which is a good cantrip. Then we have Thrill of Possibility. 1 red. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Just more card draw. Then we have one of the first counters. It's not really a counter, but this thing does come up. So it's Defabricate, 1 in blue. Choose 1. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell, which is really strong because enchantments are really hard to get out of there. And maybe some artifacts you want to get rid of too. Like if someone has a Mind Crank or a Mesmeric or some annoying shit. But yeah, if it was countered, it gets exiled instead of put in the graveyard. And then you can counter a target active or triggered ability, which is really good too, because that shit comes up a lot too. So, really good card. Then we have Mana Drain, 2 blue, instant. Counter target spell at the beginning of your next main step. Add amount of colorless mana equal to the spell's converted mana cost, which is really good because if you counter like a big spell, like someone's about to go off, play like a big spell, you counter it, you get all that. Well, it's not colored, but still could be used for you. All right, then we have Thirst of Knowledge. It's it costs 2 and a blue. It's an instant. It's another draw card. So you draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards, unless you discard an artifact, which you have a lot of artifacts, so you probably just gonna discard your artifact, and then you have ways to get it back to your hand. That's more card draw. Then we have Force of Negation, 1 and 2 blue. If it's okay, so you can this is only on your opponent's turn. If it's not your turn, you may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile instead of putting it in a graveyard. So it's more like you can't use it on your turn, but you can use it on your opponent's turn, which is really good. And you just exile a blue card. Alright, then we have Chaos Warp, 2 and a red. This is more target removal. Technically not, but you might give the, like, hopefully you give them land, but if you give them something good, you know, it's you still got the one thing off the board that you want to get off the board. So the owner of the target permanent shuffles it into their library and it reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent, put it on the battlefield, which is, yeah, it's a risky one. All right, then we have Unexpected Windfall, which is another draw spell. So it's a 2 and 2 red. As a digital cost, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 treasure tokens, which we like treasure. All right, then we have Cyclonic Rift. We all know what this does. If you just want to target 1, it's just going to be a 1 in blue. But if you want to overload it, you return all target non-land permanents you don't control to. So it's basically a board wipe. And if you have a good setup, you're probably gonna win if this goes off. All right, then we have a Thoughtcast, a 4 and 1 blue. Has an affinity for artifacts. So the more artifacts you have, the cheaper this card is. So if you have 4 artifacts, this card costs 1 blue, which is really good. And it's just draw 2 cards. Just more card draw. Then we have Seize the Spoils, 2 and a red. As a discard a card, draw 2 cards, create a treasure token, which is really good. Like I said, we want the treasure, we want to draw. And then the last is a board wipe called Blasphemous Act, 8 and 1 red. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. So basically, you're always gonna, if you're trying to board wipe, you're probably just gonna play this for 1 red. So yeah. That's all the instants and sorceries. Now, let's do the creatures. And then, I didn't separate it, so you'll see there's some artifact creatures in here, which they also count, because IRONMAN, okay, so IRONMAN can sacrifice a non-creature artifact, but he can search a creature artifact, which is really good, any artifact. Alright, so for our first creature, we have Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. Costs 1 red. Whenever Ragavan deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, exile the top card of that player's library, and you can play until the end of turn, you may cast that card. Yeah, so basically you can hit someone, get a treasure, exile the top, and then you can play that card. And if you play him for his dash cost, he has haste, but he returns back to your hand. Alright. Then we have Magda, Brazen Outlaw. She's really good. So she's a 1/1 red. Legendary creature Dwarf. Other elves you control get +1/+0, which we don't care about that. We care about her other 2 effects. So whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token, which is great. And then sacrifice 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or a dragon card, which we have some dragon cards in here, and we have a lot of artifacts. But yeah, this is a really good card too. So you pull this out and you get a whole bunch of treasures, and you're getting free artifacts, free dragons. Alright, so then we have Loyal Apprentice, 1 red. She has haste. She has Lieutenant, so if you have your commander out, you get this ability. At the beginning of your combat of your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 color stop their artifact token with flying. That token gains haste until the end of the turn. So you basically, every time you go into battle and you have IRONMAN out, you'll get a 1/1. So it just counts as more tokens, that's what we want. Alright. Then we have Reckless Fireweaver, 1/1 red. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Reckless Fireweaver deals 1 damage to each opponent, which this shit pops off if you have you start pulling out artifacts. Guess what? You're dealing a lot of damage to everybody. He's really good. Then we have Professional Facebreaker. He's a 2 in red. He has Menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. And then sacrifice treasure token, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And like I said, there's your exile. If you exile an artifact, if you have corn on the field, you can just -2, put the card back in your hand, which is really good. Alright, then we have Abaya's Apprentice. This guy is just like the other one, so it's two in a red. And then whenever Abaya's Apprentice enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless top their creature token with flying. Then you can tap her, sacrifice an artifact, choose 1, exile the top card of your library until the end of turn, and you may play that card. And then target creature gets +1/+0, which we're never gonna do that. We're definitely gonna sacrifice an artifact, get another exile. Alright, then we have some coupon cards. So Foundry Inspector. He costs 3, any kind of mana. He's a construct, and artifact spells you control cost 1 less. And we have a lot of artifacts, so we take anything that makes artifacts cheaper. Alright, then we have Mizio Visionary Artificer. 1 and 2 blue. Human Artificer. Okay, so you pay 3 in a blue, tap them, look at the top X cards of your library. X is the highest mana value of artifacts you control. You may put an artifact card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of the library, this card's really good. So if you're looking for like a certain artifact, hopefully you hit something big, because we have big artifacts in here, big artifact creatures. So you can get an artifact creature or an artifact, which is really good. Alright. Then we have everyone's favorite card. This is a kill and cipher, everybody, in my play group. Alright, so Academy Manufacturer, he costs 3. Assembly Worker, if you create a clue, a food, or a treasure, instead create 1 of each, which is crazy. So when you make a treasure, you make a food and clue. You make a food and clue. When you make a clue, you make a food and treasure, like vice versa, which is really good. There's more artifacts. Alright, then we have Zorn, a 2 in a red, a mental creature. If you would create 1 or more treasure tokens instead, create those tokens plus an additional treasure. So if you create 1, you're always going to create an extra one. So it's really good. So you're just getting extra treasures because they're artifacts. Alright, then we have Abyss's Ruptures, 2 in red. This guy can hurt you because there's like big mana value, but I still think it's a good effect. So you tap this card, sacrifice an artifact, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card into the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library, any random order, and then this card deals damage equal to the number of cards you revealed this way. So if you reveal too many cards, you're gonna get hit, but like I said, there's so many artifacts, you're probably not gonna reveal that many. Alright, then we have Iron Spider, Stark Upgrade. This is like flavor, plus he's an artifact creature, which is really good. So he costs 3, he has Vigilance. You could tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact, creature, or vehicle you control. Remove 2 counters from among the artifacts you control, and you draw a card. So he's this card draw, and he puts +1/+1 counters. Alright, then we have Liberator Urzur's Battle Thopter. Ooh. Legendary artifact creature, Thopter. He has flash, so that means you can cast him instant speed. He has flying. You may cast color spells and artifact spells as though they have flash, which that's really, really good. So on your opponent's turn, you can cast that mana rock, you can cast anything you want. And then whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana was spent to cast a spell is greater than Urzur's Battle Thopter's power, you put a +1. So he gets big, and you have flash for all your artifacts. Alright, then we have Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge, 2 in a red. This is one of the first dragons we have. He has flying. Whenever he can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts, which you're always gonna have 4 or more artifacts, especially. And he's super cheap, and he's for a 5/4, really good. And then at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-creature that died this turn. Non-creature token. All right. Then we have Gelazeth Prismari, 2 and 1 blue and a red. It's another dragon, flying. When Gelazeth Prismari enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, which we love that. Then artifacts you control, tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this only to cast instant sorceries. We really don't care about that. We're just doing it. Well, we could use it for our cantrips and everything, and then you can keep the treasure alive. So you can keep the treasure on the board if you want to do it that way. Or your food or your clue, whichever you want to use. Alright, then we have the Sad Robot, Solemn Simulacrum. He costs 4, and he's a golem. And when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield, tapped, and then shuffle. When he dies, you get the draw card. So he gets you some ramp, and he gets you an extra card. Alright, then we have Atsushi. I'm so bad at names. Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, 2 and 2 red. It's another dragon, flying and trample. When he dies, you choose 1. So you could exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards, or create 3 treasure tokens. Both are really good. So it depends on what you have. You have the corn to get recursion. You can do that, or you can just get the 3 treasures to get extra treasure. Alright, then we have Ganax, Astral Hunter, 4 and 1 red. It's another dragon. Whenever Ganax Hunter or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. Yep. We like making treasure. We got some dragons. Alright, then we have Hoarding Dragon, 3 and 2 red. Flying. When this creature enters, you may search your library for an artifact, exile it, then shuffle. When this creature dies, you may put that exile card into its owner's hand. Yeah, so it's really good. You can get whatever artifact you want. And if you have corn on the field, you can just pick them back up right now. You just play it right from exile. Or just put it back in your hand. Alright, then we have Goldspan Dragon, 3 and 2 red. Another dragon. He has haste. Whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes a target of a spell, create a treasure token. And then this is the best part. Treasures you control, tap for double the mana. So that's really good. Alright. Then we have Combustible Gearhulk. I said Combustibles. Alright, 4 and 2 red. Artifact creature. First strike. When he enters the battlefield, your opponent Okay, your opponent may have you draw 3 cards. If the player doesn't, you mill 3 cards, and then Combustible Gearhulk deals damage equal to that player to mana total. So if you mill like Blasphemous Colossus, Darksteel Colossus, like they're taking a lot of damage. So sometimes when they know what the mana value you have, they won't let you do those. Let you draw the cards. All right. Then we have Hellkite Tyrant, 4 and 2 red, another dragon, flying and trample. Whenever Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. So he's really good at stealing people's artifacts, and he's a win too, because at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. So it's another cool way to win. Then we have one of my personal favorite cards, Warm Coral Engine. He costs 6. And he has Death Touch, Lifelink, and when Worm Coral Engine dies, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm artifact creature token with Death Touch and a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm artifact creature token with Lifelink. Yeah, so he has 2 good keywords, and then if he dies, he makes 2 creatures with the same keywords. Really good, and it's an artifact. Alright, then we have Workshop Elders, 6 and 1 blue. Artifact creatures you control have flying, which is really good. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may target a non-creature artifact you control. It becomes a 0/0 creature, artifact creature, and if you do, put 4+1/+1 counters on it. So that's really good, and this works good with the Spider-Man card. Oh, here we go. Then we have Chiss-Goria, Forged Tyrant. 6 and 3 red. You're never going to play it for that much mana. You're going to play it for 3 mana most of the time, because it has an affinity for artifacts, which means it costs 1 less for each artifact you control, which is really broken, because a lot of times you're just playing this card for 3 red, which is really good. She has flying and haste, and whenever Chiss-Goria Tyrant attacks, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast an artifact from among them. If you do, it has affinity for artifacts. So basically, if you drop if you get a really big artifact, as you have a lot of artifacts on the board, you're gonna play it for free, which is really good. All right, these are the cards I was talking about. So Darksteel Colossus costs 11, which you're probably not gonna ever play it for that much. Has trample, indestructible, and if it would be put into a graveyard, you just reveal this card and it goes into your library instead. Alright, then our last one is a Blightsteel Colossus. He costs 12, 1 more, and he has trample, infect, indestructible, and he has the same effect. So if he goes into a graveyard, you just put him, if you put anywhere into a graveyard from anywhere, yeah, you just put him back in your library, which is really good. So that's all the creatures. Now let's get to the best part of the deck, the artifacts. Alright, so our first artifact, it's flavor also. We have a Commander's Plate, costs 1. It's an equipment, and equipped to creature gets +3/+3, and has protection from each color that's not in its commander's identity. So you have protection from black, white, and green, which is really good. And it costs 2 less if you equip it to your commander. This is not a Voltron deck. This is an Artifacts Matter deck, even though I have stuff to put on Iron Man. So yeah, and our second artifact is Basilisk Collar. Costs 1. Creature has Death Touch and Lifelink, which is really good, and it costs 2 to equip. Alright, then we have Wayfire's Bauble. Costs 1. You pay 2, and you sacrifice this, and you search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Some more ramp. We have Soul Ring. We all know what this does. Costs 1, gives you 2 colorless. Then we have a Sky Diamond. Costs 2, and then you could tap. It enters battlefield tapped, but you get to add a blue, which is really good. This is more ramp. Then we have Moonsilver's Key. Costs 2. Pay 1, sacrifice Moonsilver's Key, search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability. So basically, any artifact card that can tap for mana, you could put it into your hand, which is really good. Alright, then we have Fire Diamond, costs 2, same thing as Sky Diamond, taps for red, but it comes into battlefield tapped. Alright, then we have Liquid Metal Torque, costs 2, adds 1 colorless, and then you can tap it, target 1 non-land permanent, becomes an artifact in addition to its other types till end of turn, which is really cool if you need like more artifacts for an ability or something. Then we have Mesmine Tome, costs 2. You can tap it, put a page counter, scry 1. You can pay 2, tap it, put a page counter, and then draw a card. And then when this card has 3 or when there are 3 or 4 or more page counters in the Mesmine Tome, exile it. If you do, you gain 4 life. So we're basically just doing it for draw, really. But then the scry can come up too. It's just another artifact to sacrifice for Iron Man. Alright, then we have the Howling Mine, costs 2. The beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. So basically, this is kind of like, no one really messes with this card because everyone wants to get, who doesn't like getting an extra card to return? And it's an artifact, which is going to help us. And if it is helping out too, maybe we get sacrificed with Iron Man. Alright, then we have Fellwar Stone, cost 2. A mana card that an opponent's lands could produce. Then we have Arcane Signet, you know, any color in your commander's identity. Then we have Is It Signet, cost 2, pay 1, make a red and blue. Or is it? Alright, then we have Cloud Key. Now we're gonna start going up on the cost. So it costs 3, and as Cloud Key enters the battlefield, choose an artifact, creature, enchantment, instant, or sorcery. We're probably gonna choose artifact because that's what we have the most. And then those spells cost 1 less, so it's another coupon card, and it's an artifact. One of my favorite artifacts, Curse Mirror, 2 in red. It adds for mana, so you can search this with Moonsilver Key, or you can search it with Hoarding Dragon. And as it enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield, which is broken until the end of turn. So if you have a Hellkite Tyrant, you could swing the first one and then you hit someone else for the other one to get more artifacts. Alright, then we have the Reaver Cleaver, 2 in red. It's an equipment, and equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens, which we love that. We love treasure. Alright, then we have Hall of Triumph, cost 3, legendary artifact. As Hall of Triumph enters the battlefield, choose a color. We could choose either red or, we're probably going to choose red. But yeah, choose red or blue. They get +1/+1, and it's an artifact, like I said, because so many artifacts. Alright, then we have Pristine Talisman, cost 3. Add 1 colorless, and you gain a life. Command Spear, cost 3. At 1 mana of any color of your commander's identity, you could sack it to draw a card. Then we have one of my favorites, Trading Post, cost 4. So there's multiple things you could do with this guy. So you could pay 1, tap, discard, you gain 4 life. You could pay 1, tap, pay 1, tap, pay a life, create a white goat creature, which is funny because I have that token's hilarious. Then you have 1 sacrifice a creature, return a target artifact from the graveyard to your hand, which is really good. And then 1 sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. So draw, you can make creatures, you can do all kind of stuff. Then we have Hedron Archive. It costs 4, and it's another mana producing. It gets out for 2, and you could pay 2, sacrifice this artifact, draw 2 cards. So some card draw and more ramp. Then we have Tyrant Dynamo, costs 4, and then you can make 3 mana, which is really nice. 3 colors. Another one of my favorite artifacts, Quicksilver Amulet, costs 4, and then you could pay 4, tap, and you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's really good. Then we have Gilded Lotus, costs 5, and it's another mana producer. Add 3 mana of any one color. Another mana producer, so it costs Pyromancer's Goggles, costs 5. It's a legendary artifact. Add 1 red mana. If this mana was spent to cast a instant or sorcery, copy. So basically, if you cast like any instant or sorcery, you can copy that and charge new, put new targets for it. So it's really good. Then we have Wondrous Crucible, cost 7. Permanents you control have Ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, mill 2 cards, then exile an nulling card from a graveyard, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost, which is really good. Alright, and we have another of my favorites, Portraits of Phyrexia. It costs 9, which is a lot of mana, but so when Portrait of Phyrexia enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a target creature from a graveyard, not your graveyard, from a graveyard, onto the battlefield under your control, and it's Phyrexian additional to its other types. And my other favorite card, Clown Card. So this card's funny because, okay, so it costs X, so you can pay as much as you want into it. So if, say, if you pay 3, you roll a 6-sided die 3 times, and if you roll odds, you make a 1/1 clown robot artifact, and then if you roll evens, you put a counter on Clown Car, and then it accrues for 2. So you could just tap 2 of your artifact or 2 of your creatures, and then it just becomes a creature. All right, that's all the artifacts. Now, the lands. Of course, we gotta have the Urza Saga. A really good land, like one of the best lands, especially if you're playing artifacts. So it's a land enchantment. So first it adds, of course, it just adds a mana like a normal land. Then on the second phase, Urza Saga, you could pay 2, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, which is, you're gonna have a lot of artifacts. And then the third one's the best one. So you search your library for an artifact with mana cost 0 or 1. So we have a lot of 1s, so we can play anything. Yeah, really good card. Then we have Darksteel Citadel. It's an artifact land, so this counts as your artifact count if you need artifacts on the board or if you need affinity for artifacts. And then it's indestructible. And you add 1 colorless. Then we have Mistress Foundry, add 1 colorless, or you could pay 2. Mistress Foundry becomes a 2/2 assembly worker artifact creature until the end of turn. It's still a land. Then you could pay 1, tap target attacking assembly worker gets +2/+2. Cool card. Then we have a Buried Ruin, tap, add 1 colorless. Then you could tap 2, tap Buried Ruin, return a target artifact from your graveyard to your hand, which is really good. We like that. Path of Ancestry, we know what this does. Then we have Command Tower. Then these are the dual lands. So we have Pismari Campus, Shivan Reef, Is It Boilerworks, Temple of Empathy. Then we have 12 islands and 10 mountains. Yep, and that's the deck. Let's shuffle all this stuff up. Let's do a testing and let's see what we get. But yeah, I like this deck a lot. I have all, like, if I've wanted to make a, someone in the comments told me to do my my Black Panther, because I have all the Secret Lair Marvel. I made a deck for all the Marvel characters. And then of course my recent video, the most recent one I did was Spider-Man. A lot of people didn't like that, but like I said, I love Spider-Man, so I had to do a Spider-Man deck. Or maybe a lot of people haven't saw it, which is fine. Alright, so let's cut this. Put this here. We'll draw our 5. Chiss-Goria. Chiss-Goria. But there's mad ramp in this deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's just a lot of land, but we would keep it because we just want to get, our whole mission is to get IRONMAN out. So this is our 7. We draw for turn. Oh, okay. So I would just play a mountain, pass, goes back to me again, draw another land, play an island, pass. I would just like, I play like I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just keep playing cards. Then I'll just bait people. I'll play, now we'll play the assembly worker. Then people are like, oh my god, I gotta kill that. So now that's artifact counts at 1. So go back to this again. Oh, even better. Look at that. So we got Mountain. We'll tap 3. We'll play Kalki. And then we'll name artifacts. So now artifacts cost 1 less. So now you can play this for 4, which is really good. So then goes back to us again. We draw. Oh, Zorn. Jesus. Alright, so we'll play Island. And then we could just play Iron Man right now. Or if you want to make people sweat, you could, like, if you want to ramp out, you could just play tap 4. Play the Gilded Lotus. So that's another 3. So you could tap this for 3 red. And then this for 1. You can either play Zorn or the Pyromancer Gargoyle. I play Zorn. So when I do get Iron Man, I make an extra treasure. And then when it goes back to me, we're definitely playing Iron Man this turn. Because he costs 1 less also, so he only costs 4. So you could draw. Oh, Curse Mirror, really good. Alright, so we would go tap this for 3 red and tap this for blue. Play Iron Man. We would attack with Iron Man. We would create. So we like, I think you can trigger it how you want to, but so instead of making the extra, you'd make 1 treasure, 1 food, 1 clue, and then 1 extra treasure because of Zorn. So you have 2 treasures. Now Iron Man can pop off. And don't forget, you still have Chiss-Goria. So look, Chiss-Goria is here. So let's see. So Chiss-Goria cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah. So you literally just tap, if you have the mint, you can just crack the, yeah. So you can tap a red, crack a trophy. I mean, crack a treasure. Play Chiss-Goria. Exile the top 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah. So we're definitely gonna get this Foundry's Crucible. So remember, it costs 1 less, right? And then it has affinity for artifacts. So these guys are exiled. Those guys are exiled. And then so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this card costs, it's free. We'll play that. Our permanents not have ward, and then we can at the beginning of events, so we mill 2, and then exile a non-land permanent card from random graveyard, and we can copy it. But yeah, this is what your board could look like, especially if like no one's messing with you. You can have like some crazy ass shit. But yeah, if you guys like the video, you can give me a sub, like the video, and then don't worry, I'm going to be making more. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos, but I'm going to try to do better. And pretty soon, the next deck we're going to do, like, this is the one I gotta show my boy Dragon. I'm keeping up with the Dragon. But yeah. Alright, guys. Have a good one.